Welcome back to season 2 of the To Back Business Sales podcast with Damien and Sam. Now we are up to the final episode 6. Today we kind of want to give you, a bit of a roadmap if you're considering selling your business. When do you start and what do you do and what does a time frame look like? A time frame can be anywhere between 3 months to 3 years. That depends on you, but we always would advise the earlier you get onto it, the better. I guess my first point is if you do commit and say you engage to back, actually commit. Now, I have had a couple probably the last year where they come to me, I may perform an appraisal, and then I hear nothing. Or sometimes they go, that's great, I actually do want to sell. And I go, great, here's some more detail I need from you, listening agreement, and then radio silence. Makes me a bit nervous, and it makes me wonder, do I actually want to continue? Because if this is how you're going to act towards me, what if we get interested buyers and then I've got queries? So you're kind of in or you're out, and by in it doesn't mean you're going to sell tomorrow. It just means be engaged.
Responsiveness is really important.
Because I'm not going to, I do not chase, this is my personal rule, I do not chase vendors, because if I have to chase people to get information constantly, I just worry that how's that going to pan out when we go to market. So you've really got to be in or you've got to be out. Now, by in it just means engaging your advisors early. Make a plan in place. First and foremost, sit down with your accountant. If you've got a good trusted advisor in your accountant, and most of them are really good, sit down with them and say, look, I think I'm wanting to possibly exit in the next couple of years. What should I do? Accountants actually do know this. They actually really love this stuff because it's a bit different than doing a GST return on taxation of trusts or something like that. So get them involved. They really enjoy it. They will put a plan in place and go, okay, we need to get your numbers right. We need to actually start doing some forecasts and get the timing correct. We recommend getting us on board early. We don't cost anything at the beginning. We're actually not free, but there's no obligation with us. We're not going to charge you. We are happy to appraise your business a year out. We do this quite often.
Yep.
The example I gave in the last episode was about the landscaping business. So I met the guy a good few times over coffee. We talked until the time was right, and then we sold his business and it was settled within a month of going to market. So engage us early, get us to do an appraisal. We can provide some recommendations as well. Okay, this is what your business is worth right now. If you were to show another 6 months of positive trading, then it's actually going to change the weighting of the numbers. It's going to increase your EBITDA. It could add another couple of $100,000 to your business value. Are you happy to hold on for 6 months? Yes, well, fantastic. That's really, really key. And while you're doing that, if you think, okay, I've got maybe a year is my plan, that's fantastic. Sometimes they talk to us and say that they've got a year, but then a week later they go, actually, let's do it, because they kind of get excited. That's great too. But if you do have a year, key thing to work on, obviously, we've talked about this before, you want to crank sales. Do not take that foot off the throttle. Every month that your sales are increasing is going to be a great month for you, for us, for a buyer. So you really want to kick that foot down hard. You really want to try and grow the business. Keep investing into assets. Don't just stop buying stock and stop buying assets. Buyers can see right through that. We can see right through that. Run the business as if you're wanting to really, really grow and ramp it up for the next 3 years. That's what we all want to see. Try and not distance yourself, but try and have the business a lot less reliant on you than it has been. I know this is what everybody always talks about, but we can't reiterate enough, can we? It's the old personal goodwill versus business goodwill.
Don't be the bottleneck.
Don't be the bottleneck. Personal goodwill is key customers. They call Sam to make an order. They call Sam when there's an issue. It's all to do with Sam. Sam fixes everything. That's personal goodwill. Business goodwill is those key customers. They go through your accounts manager. They go through your office manager. You're not being called to place the orders. Doesn't actually matter if you were there or not during the day. That's business goodwill. Business goodwill has a value. Personal goodwill doesn't. Now, a buyer's accountant, they're going to really hone in on that personal goodwill and say that that has zero value, which is going to affect your business value quite a lot. So really, really do everything you can do to get that business not as reliant on yourself. I know it's difficult if you've set the business up and your customers are like your friends, etc., but it's really, really key. Otherwise, you're going to get buyers wanting to retain part of the purchase price. They're going to want to lock you in for a year working in the business. If you actually want to retire or move on and make it smooth, have the business running very well without you. A key question I like to ask is, if you could go to Fiji tomorrow for 2 weeks, would you still have a business when you get back? It's a really simple goal. A, you should be able to have a holiday. And B, if it can't run without you for 2 weeks and your phone is running hot while you're away, that's a huge area for you to work on over the next 12 months.
Yeah, totally agree, Sam. Yep. And do not be the bottleneck. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. And look, these are also, we're not telling you how to suck eggs. You should know this, and your accountant should be advising this, and you should be doing these things anyway, which is removing yourself from the business, documenting everything that you do. Do you have job descriptions for all of your stuff? Do you have employment contracts? We've seen a few of those where they don't have employment contracts.
Yep.
Bit of an issue. All of these things I'm talking about, and it's quite funny when you take a step back and look at it. Ramp up sales, make the business less reliant on you, get all your ducks in a row, document all your processes. Do you know what those things are going to do initially as well? You're going to make more money. You're going to actually potentially work less. You're going to have a better position. Could put us out of a job because you might realize, actually, this business is great. I'm only working 20 hours a week now and I'm making money. But hey, you do that for a year or two, you've got a business that's almost semi-managed. The value of your business is going to go through the roof. So it's a win-win scenario, and it's what business owners should be doing from the day they actually start running the business. But it's very easy to get caught up in the trees and forget about the forest. But if you do all these things, you're just going to have a business that's worth more, you're potentially making more, you're working less, and then when the time does come to sell, it's very appealing to a buyer.
And Sam, if I could just touch on why it's worth more, because at the end of the day, we've talked in episode 2, I think, of multiples and what businesses might be worth. And the key thing is the multiple is simply a number that increases as the perceived risks in your business decrease.
Exactly.
Or it decreases if the risks of the business increase. So if you are the bottleneck, there's a big risk for the new owner that if they haven't got your skill set, your aptitudes, and the way you go about business, they might not have a business within 6 months or 12 months of buying it. So, the more you can put systems and structures and standard operating procedures and checklists and all of those things that accountants love to talk about, and we love to talk about, if they're there, if they're very real, and if clients, suppliers, and staff have all got a structured way in which they can chat to other people, not just the owner, that's a massive de-risking. And when you talk about de-risking, you talk about increasing value and increasing the multiple. And I think, Sam, one of the key things that Tibet can offer you, and it's certainly available, that we can provide, you just got to reach out to us, is we have a vendor's guide to selling your business. It's quite a comprehensive booklet. And there's probably lots of them on the interweb, to be fair, if you just Google it. But we've got a vendor's guide to preparing your business for sale. We're more than happy if you want to reach out to us. We can forward that on to you, obligation free. And as Sam said, we can do the appraisals obligation free. Ideally, we don't want to be used. If you've got a buyer and you just want a value, go and see Sam and Damien, they'll give you a value, and then you drop them like a hot spot.
Please don't.
It happens. It happens.
It does.
But
it does.
We like to engage with vendors, and we love a project whereby we can take it from an initial meeting to a beginning, a middle, and an end, and everyone shakes hands and thinks they've had a lovely time, as do we. So yeah.
I think there's just one thing that popped in my head also is that quite often we do have vendors and things aren't systemized. Things that might just be that we're still using pen and paper. They're a little bit archaic, and they say, oh, Sam, that's okay because that's a great opportunity for a buyer. Yes, it is, and we have a lot of buyers who are looking for opportunities. However, they're going to discount the purchase price because that's going to be at a cost. I haven't got Simpro up and running yet because I know it's going to take me time. I haven't got this, so I haven't started using OneDrive. I haven't implemented, I wouldn't say OI just yet, but just systems to make things more efficient. Because no, a new owner will come and do that. Yeah, but that's gonna be at a cost to them. If you actually get that up and running now, as I said before, A, you're gonna find you've got a more efficient business and more time on your hands, and B, your business is gonna be more valuable, isn't it? Because it seems like you've actually done all the hard work for that, so it's more appealing. If you have a business that makes $300,000 to a working owner, and the working owner is working 60 hours a week, that business will be worth slightly less than a business that's making 300 grand and the owner's working 15 hours a week. Now,
somewhat less, slightly.
We know the difference, and we know our vendors, if they look us in the eye and say, Sam, I only work 30 hours a week, I can quite easily say that's actually not true. I can tell. I can tell. I've been doing this for too long. We need to prove that you're only doing 15 hours a week. But if you have a business that's making good money and you're working less than full-time hours, yeah, it does have a huge impact on the value of that business.
But as Sam said right at the very beginning, get your team around you, talk to your accountant. You know, most of you have accountants, and many of you have really good trusted relationships with those advisors. Have a chat to them. Do your homework, do your research, reach out to us. We provide the vendor sales booklet. You can have a good read through. If you're of a personality type that just wants to sit down and chat, reach out. We're always happy to chat. And whether you want to go tomorrow or next year or in 5 years' time, we're more than happy to have a chat, have a coffee, and talk to you about the process and what's involved, and cover off any questions you may have, because it is quite a long, it's a structured, but it's can be quite a long, convoluted process at times, depending on the complexity of your business and how well systemized your business is.
And it's a great summary. So we shall leave it there, and I think that concludes season 2. Will there be a season 3? Time will tell. See you next time.